Hello friends, welcome to SoftAcademy, my YouTube channel. So I am going to discuss about today about the Oracle database architecture and basic DBA fundamentals. Okay, so I am just starting now. So my today's session discussion is about Oracle architecture and DBA fundamentals. Okay. So to start with Oracle architecture, we first have to understand what is Oracle and what is the database, right? So whoever watching this video first and they not having background of any knowledge of Oracle or database, I will just request them to watch my videos in my YouTube channel, Archisoft Academy. This is the YouTube channel, and you just go through the introduction to DBMS. This is the part 1 and introduction to DBMS part 2. So you will basically understand what is database, what is data, what is database management system, that is DBMS, and what is relational database management system, what is Oracle, what about Oracle database. So everything has been discussed here with examples. Okay, so this is the first part, introduction to DBMS, and after that you watch DBMS part 2, introduction to DBMS part 2. You will get to know about what is Oracle, what is data, Oracle, what is database management system or DBMS, and what is RDBMS, right? So hope you will just watch these two videos, and then you will come to watch this video so that you will get the understanding in properly, right? And there are lots of video on Oracle SQL, that is structured query language, and Oracle PLSQL, that is Oracle PLSQL programming language. You can just watch out all those videos, and there are many important topics like Oracle constraints, all the constraints and their application. This is the part 1 and this is the part 2. You can watch out both to get to know about Oracle constraint in detail. And there are many advanced topics for Oracle PL/SQL programming, that are cursors, exceptions, collections, arrays, different types of arrays used in Oracle, and there is explain plan, that is for performance tuning. There are very advanced topics discussed in materialized views, and this is part 1 and 2. And PL/SQL records, they are in 3 parts. One no, PL/SQL part 1, PL/SQL record part 2, and PL/SQL record part 3. And this is the complete SQL fundamentals course. You can just watch out, and these are the demonstration session for Oracle SQL and Oracle PL/SQL. Okay, so I am just requesting all of you who are watching this session, just visit or watch all the videos here. And if you if you learn something from my video, just give me like a so that I can upload more videos for your learning, and you will get to understand about the Oracle technology, different Oracle technology, database, about the Oracle database, and about the Oracle PL/SQL programming, and many more. Okay, so that's all for my YouTube channel, which are already uploaded, which videos are already uploaded in my YouTube channel. And I'm coming to the today's discussion session, that is for Oracle architecture and DBA fundamentals. Okay, who are watching, as I said earlier, who are just new watching these videos, and who don't know the database, what is data, what is RDBMS, and what about Oracle, just watch those videos sequentially, as I said, and you will get to know everything of that, and you will be cleared about that. Okay, and I'll just cover up today's session, Oracle architecture and database administration fundamentals. Okay, So Oracle database actually consists of two major components. Okay, so Oracle database consists of two major components. I'm writing here. First one is the database storage. The database storage, and the second one is the Oracle instance. Okay, Oracle instance. Okay, so these are two major components of Oracle database, and an Oracle database is a organized collection of information, and it consists of a collection of database files. Okay, that are stored in disk storage. Okay, so an Oracle database is basically a consisting of database files, various database files which are stored in data means disk storage, that are physical disk storage, right? So we have nine types of database files. So an Oracle database has two part. One is logical database and one is physical database, right? So in the physical database part, Oracle stores data in the disk storage as in a database files, in the form of database files. Okay, so there are basically nine types of database files. Okay, so nine types of database files are, first one is data files. So data files. Number two, control files. Number three, redo log files. Number four, database backup. Number five, archived redo log. Number six, parameter file. Number seven, password file. Number eight, alert log file. Number nine, trace file. So these are the all files related to Oracle database, okay, which are stored basically in a disk drive in various formats. These are different database files which are stored basically physical in physical disk drive, right? So this about before discussion about each of these files, I am just going to I'm just going to show you the basic understanding of a database architecture. Okay, so this is the basic architecture of Oracle database. This is the Oracle database, and this store this Oracle database is the Oracle database stored various information of a business transactions. Okay, in the form of table, and in a table in the form of records. Okay, so there will be many record tables, and each table having many records. So there are huge information in this the Oracle database can be stored, right? So this Oracle database has actually two major components. The first one is database storage, as I said. So this is the storage where the database files are stored. So these are the database files, and in each file, the physical records have been stored. So these are the files in the database storage. So these files are storing basically the physical records, okay, or physical data. Okay, so this is the physical storage, and this is the Oracle instance. So Oracle database has two major components. First one is Oracle database storage, which are in the form of database files, and another is the Oracle instance. So basically, an instance is consisting of memory and processes. Okay, so we'll come to know in detail about Oracle instance in later, just in this session also only. So I'm discussing before that I'm discussing about what is Oracle instance. Okay, Oracle instance basically a set of memory structures and processes. Okay, that manage database files. Okay, so Oracle instance basically a set of memory structures and processes that manage database files. A database instance consists or a database instance exists only in memory, right? This is the Oracle instance. This instance can exist only in the Oracle memory, this Oracle instance contains consisting of memory structures and the processes. Okay, so we'll get to know in detail about memory structure and processes in later. So now I'll come to here where I can show you in detail picture of this, and this is the detailed picture of the Oracle architecture, internal architecture. So here, this is the Oracle instance, and an Oracle instance is having memory structures and processes. Okay. So this is completely the Oracle instance, and inside the Oracle instance, there are memory structures. This is the memory and the processes. Those can make a Oracle instance. Okay, and there are SGA and PGA stands for System Global Area and Program Global Area, which is directly communicate with the memory or directly associate with the memory, right? So, and these processes are basically the server processes and the background processes, right? So Oracle memory consisting of the system global area and program global area, and Oracle processes consisting of server processes and various background processes, right? So Oracle memory structure and processes makes the Oracle instance. Clear? Okay, fine. Now, what is the relation between Oracle instance and Oracle database? Now I am showing here the Oracle database. Oracle database is consist of the memory structure, the instance and the database itself, right? So here is the instance I have already described, and this is the Oracle database. So inside the Oracle database, these are the data files which are actually physically stored in the disk or storage unit. And these data files having physical data which are written inside the file. So these files are stored in the Oracle database, right? As a DBF file. This file extension is .dbf, and these are actually the physical database files, okay, which are stored in the disk, right? So these data files, so this Oracle database and Oracle instance is connected by this. Once Oracle database has started, it will start an instance. Okay. So Oracle database is directly whenever a Oracle database has been started, an instance will be created at that time, right? So these are the relation between Oracle database and the Oracle instance. Okay. So the Oracle, so in the detail of Oracle instance, I can tell you that the Oracle instance is a Oracle program or binary code which are loaded into the server RAM, right? And Oracle instance is created by Oracle instance is created every time you start up your Oracle database. Whenever you are starting up your Oracle database, an Oracle instance is to be created in the memory, right? And this is created because the reading from memory is much faster than compared to reading from the disk. Okay, so data files are read from rather than data read from the disk. It is easy, it is faster to read from the memory, right? So that's why every time Oracle database is started, an Oracle instance is created, right? Okay, fine. And every running Oracle database is associated with at least one database instance. Okay, every running Oracle database has must have a Oracle must associate with an Oracle instance, right? Okay, so an Oracle instance exists in memory and a database exists in disk. Okay, so instance existing in the memory and database is stored or exist in the disk. Okay, fine. Uh, and we can say an instance can be exist without a database, and also the database can exist without an instance. Okay, so for the first time, whenever you are not started a instance, the database is there, right? So in a database can be there or can exist without an instance. And once your database started, a database that your database is started, an instance will be created, right? So that's the architecture inside the Oracle database. And if you lose your instance, okay, that is no issue, but losing the data files, that means you are losing your database, right? Because instance is created whenever the database is up, one instance will be created. So instance can be lost and you can create another instance when you start up. Next time the database you start up, an Oracle instance will be created, right? But once your database, if any time data files are have been deleted, you cannot start up your Oracle database. That means your database will be lost. Okay, fine. Okay. Uh, Next is I can just give an example. This instance and the database, like whenever we run our MS Word, means whenever we open a file in MS Word for before that we have to install the MS Word software, right, in our system. So once we have installed the MS Word software in our system, we can then open a any kind of document, right, which are written in MS Word, right? So we can open the software, that is Microsoft Word, and we can write any document and we can save it. And next time whenever we just open it, it will open inside an Oracle, it means inside an Word document, what's Microsoft Word software, right? So if you not install your MS Word, you cannot open an Oracle, that means MS Word file, right? So you can say this is an instance and this is the database. Okay, so every time you are opening the MS Word file, it will open and in first open an instance of MS Word, and then the file will be gets loaded into that instance, right? And once you have deleted all the files, your MS Word will be lost also, right? means there will be no meaning of ms word installed in your computer, right? So that's the difference between the instance and the database, oracle instance and oracle database, right? So likewise, and in coming to the oracle database has maybe single instance DB or maybe multi single instance DB on the same server. Here, if you look at here, one database is here and one database is creating one instance, okay, in the server machine. So whenever you start your database, it will be one database instance will be created in the server, okay. And there may be multiple databases, and if each databases, so whenever you start, it will create a instance. So multiple instance is for multiple databases, there will be multiple instance will be created for each databases, right, on the server, right? Okay, fine. So now I'll come to, I think you have understood about the Oracle internal architecture, memory structure, processes, what is the database and what is the Oracle instances, and various relation in between the instance and database, and also the server in the server, how Oracle database and instance can decides, okay. So now I'll discuss about one by one the whatever the files, this what are the associated files I have written here and what are their use, okay, in the Oracle architecture, right? So in the data file, first time in already I have seen the data files in the pictorial discussion, right? So data files basically, Oracle database consists of one or more data files, one or more files to store of data physically, and that are called data files. A database's data is collectively stored in the data files, and that constitute each table space of the database, right? Okay. So I'm coming to the control files, and control files basically, a control file is a small binary file that records the physical structure of the database, okay. So what is a control file? A control file is a small binary file that records the physical structure of the database, okay. And it includes database names, data files names and their locations, and online read log files, okay. So what a database, what a control file stored, a control file stored information like database name, data files name and their location, and the online read log files, okay. And next, coming to three redo log files. So what are redo log files? Redo log files is made up of redo entries, okay. So that are also called redo records. The online redo log stored a copy of the changes made to the database. Whenever a database have some changes, that changes is to be written in the redo log files, okay. So how redo log files is used? A redo log files used to write the information, whatever the changes have been made on the database, right? Okay. So next is database backup. So database backup is an operating system backup of all data files and control files, okay. That constitute of Oracle database, which are constitute of Oracle database. A full backup also include the parameter file associated with the database, okay. You can take a full backup, database backup, when the database is shut down or while the database is open, right? So database backup, you can take the backup whenever your database is running or whenever your database is shut down. Okay. And it is the backup of including the parameter files and database files. Okay. Next is archive log files, and these archive log files basically this archive log file is a copy of one of the field members of a readolog group. Okay. Basically, archive log are archived online readolog files. Archive files are basically archived online readolog files. In readolog file, all the changes happened as I discussed earlier in the readolog file. What is a readolog file? What readolog file do? Readolog file, all the changes that happen to the database are written, right? So this archive readolog file actually archived the online readolog files. Okay. When they are full, means when the readolog files are full, they are archived online. So in that then it will be called archived readolog files, right? So I'm repeating again, archive readolog files, and there is very much confusion between archive readolog files and readolog files. Readolog files basically store the changes, whatever the changes happened on the database that are written in the readolog files, and whenever the readolog files are getting fold, they are archived online, and then they are called archived readolog files. They are actually readolog files whenever fold, they have been archived online, right? And that time it is called archived readolog files. Okay. And the use of archive readolog files are they are used to recover the database. Okay. Because we have all the changes there in the archive readolog file, so they are basically used to recover the database and update a standby database. Okay. So these are the use of archive readolog file. And next is parameter file. Okay. A parameter file is a file that contains a list of initialization parameters. Okay. And a value for each parameter, so it contains in a various initialization parameters and the values for each parameter. Okay. And Oracle supports two types of parameter files. One is server parameter files, that is SV file, and one is initialization parameter file, that is P file. Okay. So on the until the Oracle 8i, we were used a text file that is called P file or parameter file or initialization parameter file for setting the database initialization parameters. Okay. This P file is this P files actually startup time. They are actually whenever the database is started up, the specific yeah, whenever the instance has been started, that parameters are used. Okay. So whenever the database has been started, that initialization parameters are used to start the instance. Okay. And any changes that were made in parameter file would only take effect when the database is started. Okay. Okay. And then sp file, that is server parameter file. I told one is initialization parameter file, that is P file, and one is sp file, that is server parameter file. So server parameter file in Oracle 9.9 actually it is introduced, and that parameter file is a binary file that contains the same information as the old P file, but SP file permits dynamic changes. Okay, so without requiring you to restart the instance. Okay, so you need not to restart the Oracle instance again. You can so Oracle permits the dynamic changes. That makes the changes happened in the database can be written in the SP file without starting the instance. Okay, database instance without restarting the database instance, right? I hope you have understood between the difference between the P file and SP file, right? Okay, fine. And so these are the parameter about parameter files and password files. Now come to 7 password file. So Oracle password file stores the password for users with the administration privileges. Okay, the default location of the password file is that is in Unix environment. The location is location is one, and in the Windows system the location is different. Okay, so Unix system that comes into Oracle Home, DBS, Ora PS, Ora PWA, Ora PW dollar Oracle underscore SID. Okay, and in Windows their path will be different, and you can check your after installation the path will be different for password file. Okay, and next is alert log file. This alert log file can also be called the alert log, and that is a chronological log of messages and errors written out by an Oracle database. So whatever the logs or whatever the log messages or whatever the errors about the Oracle database that are written into the alert log files, right? So typical messages which are found in the alert log file are like database startup, database shutdown, log switches, space errors, etc. Okay. Now finally I come to trace file. So trace file are trace or dump file that Oracle database creates to help you diagnose and resolve operating system. Okay, so each server and background process writes a trace file. Okay, when a process detects an internal error, when a process detects an internal error, it writes error information into a trace file. Okay, so what is the use of trace file? Whenever a process detects an internal error, it will be written in the trace file. Okay, so all the files related to the database we have already discussed. Okay, I think you have understood well about the internal database architecture. What is the database instance? What is the database storage, and how they are interrelated with the database, Oracle database. What is the how database storage and Oracle instance are related, and what is the actual architecture inside the Oracle instance and Oracle database, and how they are communicating with each other. I have discussed I have discussed all these things in detail here. And also there are maybe multiple database instance or single database instance. So database for single or multiple database. So all those things are I think you have understood well, right? Now this so I have all this. So this is this was basically the Oracle Architecture and DBA fundamentals session. For this is all about this session. And if you like, if you learn something from this tutorial video, you just give a like. There are lots of things are described and shown in this tutorial for Oracle database architecture and also database administration fundamentals, right? So hopefully you have understood all these things. And if you understand all these things and how you have understand how much you have understood my session, you just write a comment in below the video, how much you have understand, if you understand it well, or if you under how much you have understand from my session. And watch other videos also if they can help you understanding various Oracle topics, or database, about the Oracle database topics and programming topics. That's all for this session. Just if you like this video, just give a like and subscribe my channel, so that once I have uploaded a new video, you can get a notification and you can watch it out and you can learn something new, right? If you want to join my online training session, there is also online training programs am providing. I am providing trainings for various Oracle technologies like Oracle database architecture and design, database design, Oracle SQL, complete SQL, yes, that is structured query language. Complete Oracle SQL training is there, and also Oracle PLSQL programming course, complete Oracle PLSQL programming course. And also I'm providing Unix training, sales scripting training. So I am providing training almost last 10 years, to various students, institutes, and also big MNCs. So if you want to join my online training programs, just follow the instructions which are written in the thumbnail of this video. You can directly contact me on, or on the given number on the thumbnail, or you can email me, which are in my YouTube channel. The email is also there. You can write an email, or you can watch my website. The website name is https://www.rksoftacademy.com. So just go to that website and you will find many courses and trainings over there, and just know all the courses details there in my website. And you can, if any course you want to join, just click on the apply button and follow the instructions in the apply page. And once you have covered all the process, you can start, we can start the online session on the course you wanted to join. Okay, so that's all for this tutorial session. And just give a like if you understand this video, whatever topics which I have discussed. And if you like my channel, just give a like. And if you just subscribe my channel, and so that you can get the notification of next video. And I'll be back on with the next video. Just give me a comment how much you have understanding with my after watching my videos. Okay, I am just requesting everyone to watch each and every videos,
and just comment without any skipping. Just watch from start to end, and you will if you understand, or if you get to know in detail what how much you have understand, that give a comment below in the description section. Just write a comment, and if you understand it in very much well, and you want new videos, just give a like on that video, and I'll provide new videos to you so that you can learn on various Oracle topics and technologies, right? So that's all for this session. Thank you for watching this video. Just give a like and subscribe my channel. Okay, thank you. Bye.